New dawn breaks as locals start their day with some light exercise. Known as the Golden Land due to the abundant gold-adorned pagodas and statues of the Buddha, Myanmar is a developing country in Southeast Asia, sharing borders with India, Bangladesh, China, Laos and Thailand. As home to over 100 different ethnic groups, a rich array of ancient cultural heritage and customs developed, with many traditions continuing today as they did in centuries past. But as the past meets the present, some of these traditions are becoming increasingly scarce. One such tradition is that of marionette string puppetry, known locally as U Htwe, meaning small people. Only a handful of troops are still active today. I wanted to find out why this ancient art was in decline and how it might be saved. I met U Htwe, based in Yangon, who, much to the concern of his wife and family, had given up his well-paid job as a sea merchant to establish his own troupe, the Twi U Myanmar Marionette Troupe.
I sailed about 20 years at sea, 15 years as a bachelor, single. So after marriage, I am very homesick. And so when I start sailing after marriage, so my wife is pregnant, 5 months, and I want to go back home all the times. And I want to be with family and work together. That is why I retire after my daughter is 5 years old. And then we start the theater like a family theater.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm directing, my wife is managing, now my daughter and son is also manipulating and dancing. The traditional play is based on the Jataka story or Buddha's teaching. So they are to teach the people for good character and moralities.
Marionette theatre dates back from the 15th century, originally created for the royal courts, with the purpose to popularise the Buddhist Jataka stories. In old Myanmar society, it was considered inappropriate for men and women to dance within arm's length of each other, let alone touch. This restricted human actors' ability to accurately portray a story. Puppets were an ingenious way around this problem and played a significant role in the development of dance and dramatic arts. Marionettes were allowed the full regalia of the royals or robes of a monk, whereas human actors were only allowed enough of the costume to symbolically indicate the role. They enjoyed the rare and powerful privilege of being able to communicate sensitive issues on behalf of both royals and their subjects, without the vengeance that many live messengers might fear. To learn more about the traditions of this art, we visit the well-known puppet master, Saya Chan, of the Peaceful Golden Land Troupe.
So Maggie, this is the house of Saya Chan, the Nyen Chan Shupi Puppet Theatre. This crew is day performance in the Buddha festival or all-night performance. So I bring you to see how the puppet master is showing his talent. Okay?
That's great.
Yeah, let's go.
Traditional all-night performances took place at pagoda festivals, bringing news from the capital to far-flung villages.
So he's the Vicky from Australia. So she'd like to visit your house and she'd like to learn your puppet theatre. So show something her about our Myanmar puppetry.
Thank you.
So she is also ladies puppeteers, graduate from Kacha University and assisting Sia Chan, and their group it won the gold medalist in the government's performing arts competition.
Saya Chan has one of the largest collections of marionette puppets. The characters can be human, animals, or mythical beings. A traditional set consists of at least 28 puppets, each puppet having their own particular way of dancing with accompanying music and song. The marionette stage was a means of making people aware of current events, a medium for educating the masses in literature, history and religion. It was a display of lifestyles and customs, and an art held in much esteem by all classes. The medium puppet, for example, is the first to appear on stage, and her movements are based on the sway and tremble of a real-life possessed person. She lifts the homage offerings towards heaven to pay tribute to the Buddha and the Nat spirits. Nats are the spirit forms of people who were prominent in life and who died a violent death, and it is believed that these offerings can protect them from similar fates. The ogre puppets consist of a jungle and city ogre. Their dance is a battle of power and strength, and traditionally the city ogre always wins. The prince and princess are the leading characters in the classical plays, and in most stories these romantic heroes must overcome difficult situations to be together.
It is important to keep the tradition alive because this tradition is our cultural heritage more than 500 years ago.
Whilst retaining a repertoire of well-known Jataka performances, Saya Chan has also used modern puppets to tell his stories. U Htwe plans to preserve traditional style performances and to revive the popularity of the marionette stage by introducing new time-relevant plays.
A lot of puppet troupes are traditional people, not U Htwe is somewhat, let's say, open to the world because he's travelled and he has contacts with what the rest of the world is doing in puppetry. But the others are very traditional, and one part of our tradition is that you don't change anything. You're not allowed to change anything. And even now, older puppeteers who are sort of like the patrons, the masters, the great masters, in their youth, they have made innovations in their shows. A few of them.
Okay.
A few of them, very few, because there was one. U Htwe, who comes from a very educated, high-class family. He put in very modern touches in his, and of course he got hammered. Everybody's traditionalist screamed at him for doing that. U Htwe is trying to get into the to present new material, and or to upgrade the old stories. They would need a lot of investment capital to improve the stage settings, a lot of modern technology so that it will attract the audience. And for that we need a lot of money.
So you see, this is our national dress. The coat. Yesterday I wearing same like this.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is with trouser.
For the modern plays, we can teach anything about the social issue, educational, environmental, and health as issue. So this more to the writing, and not only for the Buddhist people, the people all over the world.
Over the centuries, Myanmar Marionette Theatre has remained largely unchanged, and since the appearance of cinema and television has lost popularity. With pressure from traditionalists to prevent change, yet aware that modern technology will help to revive puppetry, the scale of U Htwe's challenge becomes clear. Sadly, due to ill health, Saya Chan has disbanded his long-established troupe and is looking to sell his marionettes to U Htwe in an effort to preserve Myanmar string puppetry. I am treated to an impromptu performance, which is quite possibly their last. Taking a bike taxi, we travel to meet Aung San Suu Kyi, son of the famous puppet maker and puppeteer U Htwe, who taught Saya Chan. He also won many awards at national arts competitions put on annually by the government.
On that way. So he's the maker. He's young but very talented because he got all handicrafts thing and puppet manipulation from his father.
Aung lives with his mother and sister, who as skilled embroiderers provide the clothing for each of the marionettes. His workshop is beneath his home, where he begins carving from a large piece of humane wood, the wood of choice for the puppet maker. Each piece of wood is fashioned from memory, down to the tiniest detail. Myanmar marionettes are so lifelike, they are considered small people and even have their sexual organs carved. A traditional puppet has real human hair implanted and is painted using modern paint mixed with chalk dust. In the past, a paste made from tamarind seeds and talcum powder was used. A birthing ceremony with offerings made to the nat spirits is believed to breathe life into the marionette, or instill the butterfly as it is known. After many hours of hard work, Aung is ready to string and clothe the new puppet. This particular marionette will play the role of Mala in U Htwe's new play, The Four Puppets, one that was born out of a cultural exchange to Chiang Mai in Thailand and based on a Burmese folktale.
We have to appreciate each other's cultures, and then another thing is that the artists exchange ideas, and they don't even need to, speak each other's languages. They know what they are doing, and then it's like a puppeteer from here would meet a puppeteer from Japan, and immediately they'll be like, like family, instant friends.
Yeah.
Because they share the passion and they can learn, they will be curious about what the other is doing, how it's done, and the movements.
And Thailand and Myanmar, there is a very bad history because Burmese came conquer to the Thailand, and most of the time, not most of the time people, some Thai people hate to Burmese because of the bad history. But when we were in Thailand, we make the workshop, 3-week workshop in Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
So Thai people and the Burmese artists are like,
Brother.
yes. And they admire too much the Burmese artists, and they learn very willingly and eagerly. And then at the end of the workshop, they cry before we leave.
Karawek Palace, a themed restaurant in the heart of Yangon, showcasing traditional ethnic dance and performing arts, plays host to U Htwe's traditional marionette performances. U Htwe had hoped to use the funds from these performances to offer puppetry workshops, yet without flourishing tourism, the owners have been forced to terminate his contract, leaving him without a venue. U Htwe explains what separates Myanmar marionettes from other marionettes.
Myanmar puppets is a string puppet, marionette. So it is many strings, minimum 11 strings. So this is very difficult to manipulate all strings, and also we can dance like a human. And also we can jump 360 degrees. So this is a unique for Myanmar Marionette.
I soon discover for myself how skilled you need to be to manipulate these heavy marionettes. And yes, it is as difficult as it looks. Without a venue, the future of this ancient art is still very much in doubt. However, from such tourist performances at Karawik Palace, U Htwe was fortunate to meet a German enthusiast who was helping to finance a European tour.
This sponsor is just for this Europe tour, but we have many steps to go.
It is through this tour that U Htwe hopes to showcase Myanmar puppetry and to both learn and share ideas in order to bring new life to the marionette stage when he returns to Myanmar. Charleville-Mézières is situated in northern France in the Champagne-Ardenne region on the banks of the Meuse River. It is a major hub for international puppetry, hosting one of the largest puppet festivals in the world. As many as 150,000 tourists and puppet enthusiasts fill the town to see professional artists from all over the world, each performing several shows a day in every available venue in town.
Non plus. No.
With over 250 performances, the choice can sometimes be overwhelming. Though with the many street performers showcasing their talents, there is always something to see.
Tandis que sa petite sœur suit derrière, dans l'ombre protectrice de son grand frère.
It's great to see the whole town getting involved, with puppet-themed displays in almost every shop window. Htwe is here with his puppet troupe, and we're going to go and see if we can find him.
Yeah. So nice to meet you again. Yeah. You remember?
U Htwe is keen to promote Myanmar puppetry, so the troupe hit the streets with traditional marionettes, encouraging adults and children to come and enjoy the show. U Htwe's marionette troupe have seen the benefits of cultural exchange, having developed their play, The Four Puppets, with artists from other nationalities. This is the first of its kind, mixing traditional Myanmar marionettes with modern puppets. Their story perhaps reflects the challenges we face globally, where many of us blindly seek material wealth to the detriment of our spiritual development, in the belief that happiness comes from financial success alone. A puppet master wishes for his son, Aung, to learn puppetry and to continue the family tradition, yet Aung would rather seek his fortune in the city. An argument follows, and unable to change his mind, his father gives him 4 puppet companions for guidance on his journey, explaining that each has a virtue: wisdom, goodness, strength, and knowledge. That night, Aung dreams of setting off to seek his fortune. He reaches a thick forest and becomes fearful as the night shadows begin to appear. Seeing a bed of fallen leaves, he asks the first puppet, with the virtue of wisdom, if he should spend the night there. To his amazement, the celestial being comes to life with the words, "Aung, you must use your eyes and think for yourself." Looking around, he notices the footprint of a tiger, and instead chooses to spend an uncomfortable night in the branches of a tree. He avoided the dangers of the night thanks to wisdom. The following day, he spots a group of rich travellers. Wishing for wealth like theirs, he asks the second puppet, the jungle ogre, how he too could enjoy such abundance. The ogre responds, "Aung, nothing is impossible with the virtue of might and strength." Stamping his foot, he causes a rock slide, spilling all the riches as the travellers flee in fear. He notices a beautiful young girl named Mala left behind in the confusion and says he'll take care of her. Horrified at what he had done, Mala curses him, saying she could never respect a thief. Yet scared and alone, has no choice but to go with him. Disappointed by Mala's rejection, but blinded by greed, he asks the sorcerer puppet for his virtue of knowledge. The sorcerer uses his magic to unlock nature's guarded secrets, and all the riches of the earth become his. Aung showers Mala with precious gifts, but she refuses to speak to him and soon runs away. Sad and lonely, he asks the fourth puppet, the hermit, why everything has gone wrong. With the virtue of goodness, he replies, "Aung, you had imagined that wealth would bring happiness, but true happiness comes only from goodness. It's not what you have, but what you do with it that's important." Aung wakes from his dream and returns to his father, having realised that he can find happiness by bringing joy to others through the honourable job as a puppeteer. The moral of the story is that strength and knowledge are useful, but must always serve wisdom and goodness.
Harmony, it's a Buddha's teaching that the path of life is a middle way. Don't go into extremes. The message that Buddha left for us, don't go into extremes, go the middle way, that is harmony. And also that he is not a God and he's not going to be around to grant favors or mercies. Don't worship me. Do what you can for yourself. Worship the best in yourself, and you are totally responsible for all the deeds. Everything you do, good or bad, it will return to you.
Like the character Aung in The Four Puppets, U Htwe realises that wealth alone doesn't necessarily equate to true happiness. By forsaking the financial stability of his career as a seaman in order to follow his dream, he finds happiness through shared family experiences and the challenges associated with evolving and preserving an ancient tradition of his beloved Myanmar. From this European trip, U Htwe hopes to endorse his nation's cultural heritage and to take new ideas for innovation from the multinational puppet performances they observe. Puppetry is a universal form of creative expression and a fantastic tool for education. Yet by staying within the constraints of tradition alone, U Htwe is aware that his storytelling is limited. Upon his return to Myanmar, he wants to create a puppetry foundation offering courses and workshops to teach and inspire a new generation. He dreams of producing new time-relevant plays using modern technology to help create a more engaging theatrical experience. U Htwe is still very much in need of support to achieve these goals.